Good day, CCBA suppliers. In this specific video, I'm going to demonstrate to you how to complete an event, an Ariba event, by logging in to the Ariba portal with your username and password, access the event, and then submit your bids. So from the CCBA procurement perspective, this is the event that was populated, various suppliers were invited, and I'm going to show you how to respond as the specific supplier. So from your perspective, you would have received from the CCBA procurement specialist an email specifying that CCBA invites you to participate in an event, and then the name of the event will be specified. You open the email, it will address you in your name, and it will also give you your specific username, which I think is great. I recommend that you copy the username to make it easier. Control-C to copy it. And then what you need to do is you click on the here to access the event. Just note that if you want to reset your password, this is only valid for 24 hours. So make sure that you use the link in time. Otherwise, you ask the procurement specialist at CCBA to resend you an email invitation. Okay, we've copied our username. We click here to access the event. There's another video where I show you how to do first-time registration. I don't cover that in this video. I just want to make sure that from the email invitation, you know how to access the event by signing in. So on the username, you paste your username. It's usually your email address in small letters, and you capture also your password. Click OK, and this should take you directly into the event which you were invited to. In case this doesn't take you into the event, I just want to show you, you can go back to the dashboard, which is your home page. I'm going to click there. And then if you arrive on your home page, you will see it under open events. This is the one that you've been invited to, and this is the event that's currently open. Click on it, and it will take you back into event. Okay. The first thing you need to realize now to submit your response on the event is that on the left-hand side, you can see here all the sections that is available for you to view. At the moment, you can only view section 1, which is just a few instructions you need to follow. So please read the instructions in red, because this will guide you through the whole process. Here below is also some other information, estimated award date, due date, time, all that type of information. As per the instructions, it tells you at step number 1, please click the blue button, review prerequisites above to start your response. So although this one is highlighted, you need to click on it. I left click on it, and this will take me to the bidder agreement. Now, if you scroll down, you will see all the terms and conditions just for the bidding process. This is not your master services agreement that you need to sign eventually with CCBA. It's purely basic terms and conditions just for the participation of this event. So you can see Coca-Cola supply guiding principles, the values, all the things that you need to adhere to is down here. Also code of business conduct for suppliers to Coca-Cola Beverages Africa Group. You can read all that. And then right at the bottom, this is where you need to say, I accept the terms of this agreement. If you don't accept it, you cannot proceed with submitting any bids. You have to accept it. And then on certain of the templates that you will need to populate, it will also ask you to say the buyer configured this event to allow rejected envelopes, and you just need to tick the box. Some templates will not ask you for the box, then you just accept the agreement here. Now you click OK and submit this agreement, click OK. Once you've done accepted the bidder agreement, it will take you to the next step where you need to accept the lots. Lots is like your price line items. So for this specific event, I have configured 2 line items. The one is for a printer with high volume and a printer with low volume. Here you can say which ones would you like to respond to. I would like to respond to both. You can come back to this if you made a mistake. And on the left hand side, you will see there's a tab, select lots. You can come back to it and then also reselect your lots here. I'm going to select both. You will also note that here's a tab at the top, select using Excel. I would recommend that you do not use this method because then you will need to populate everything in Excel and then anyway import everything again, attach the missing fields anyway. So I recommend that you do it all online by staying on this tab here. Okay. Then you will also see that for certain events, it asks you to submit and select which currency would you like to participate in. So if you select a currency, it will give you a list. I'm going to select that I will do it in South African rands. If you prefer, for example, US dollars, maybe you're overseas supplier, you select that and all your submissions will be in US dollar, which will be converted to the base currency of the event eventually. So I'm going to select South African Rand and use this currency, use a different currency for different lots. You can also click there and then you can actually have a different currency per line item if you like that. Once you've done the selection, this one you can untick. That's not I already said it's South African Rands. Now you need to click confirm the selected lots, but you need to tick all the boxes with the line items where you would like to submit bids. Confirm selected lots. I click there. You have modified the currency. It is just a reminder. I just click OK, no problem. You can go back to selected lots if you want to redo the selection by just clicking on selected lots. You will also note that while you're busy with the process, you can actually click save a draft. So if it takes some time to populate all the fields, which quite often is the case, you don't need to go right to the end and submit the entire response. You can actually save a draft, and once everything is completed, then you can submit the entire response. What you can also do is you can compose a message. So say, for example, you would like to send a message after you read maybe the scope of work. If I click here on scope of work, this is the way you filter and go directly to the right section. It will take you here to scope of work. You can read the references. Here's the document. You click on it and you download it. If you've got a question to the project specialist at CCBA, you can compose a message here. You don't use your normal email. We want to do it all inside. Yeah. So you can say, you can even attach a file if you want to. And then you can say, hi, CCBA. And here you can ask your question and you can click the send button. So this is the way you do your communication while inside of the event. When CCBA send you messages, you'll get a reminder in your inbox, and you will have a link that will take you back into the event, and you will then also go to event messages here at the top. Event messages, and then you will be able to view all the messages here. If you want to open the message, click here under subject on it. So this is the one that we just sent out. If I click on it here under the subject, here I can see it, and I can even reply to it if I want to, or just click done. So that's the way you deal with your messages in the event. Let's go back to the console. Okay. So that was compose the messages. I told you how to save your document while you're busy. So now you've got two choices. You can now filter here and work through it one section at a time. Or what you can do is you can just click all content, and then all content will be visible. It's very handy to use this double arrow, because as you click the double arrow, the screen display will become bigger. It's much easier to navigate and read. So let's have a look. Section 1, if I click the plus button, here are my instructions, how to populate. You can always come back to section 1 and read it. Section 2, I can scroll down, and all the boxes where there are asterisks, you have to complete the fields. So the first question is there a conflict of interest for your company and you as a person with CCBA? And you will specify it in the box, or if there's nothing, we'll just respond with a none. But you have to populate something because it's a mandatory field to populate. Please confirm consent that CCBA can conduct credit and bank detail confirmation. Here you need to say yes, and you need to attach your latest bank letter. So attach a file, click on it, and then you go choose file, and you will just go to your folder. I'm just going to attach that one for my demonstration, and you click OK, and that file is attached here. If it's a wrong one, click delete the file and you can update a new one. Next question, are you comfortable and you agree that on the no PO, no pay print policy? And this you also need to respond with a yes. So it's quite clear what the requirements are. When you get to number 3, which is the resultant contract, this is where CCBA will attach the template of the master services agreement, which need to be signed if you are successful with this business, with the bid. So you need to download this attachment, you need to study it, and at the end, we want you to populate in this box all the deal breaker concerns you've got based on that document. So maybe you can comment, and it's good to say, for example, clause 1.2.3, and then you put your comment down there. But you have to comment something. If you got no comments, just type in here none. So this was section 3. If we go to section 4, I just want to remind you again, if you want to do one section at a time, you can just click filter, and then you just see one section at a time. You just see section 4. And remember that double arrow there to enlarge your screen. Here I've deleted some questions just to shorten the demonstration. But in total, if you need to fill this in, there are 43 questions. So you need to populate all the questions with red asterisks. Right at the bottom, there are some questions which are optional. So these are not requirements. That's when you put in contacts as references, but you have to put 1 and 2 here, but the third one is optional. So let's say, do I supply goods and services from South Africa to South Africa? In my case, I will say yes. And this will open up some BE questions that you need to answer. If you say no, then there will be no BEE questions because that will be irrelevant. That's probably for countries outside of South Africa. So in my case, I will say yes. Are you submitting the proposal under the registered name? I will say yes here. And all these questions, I'm just going to populate some information here. You put some contacts in there. I just want to speed up the process. You can read it and you can fill it in. These ones here, I'm going to show you. I'm not going to fill in because it's optional. I'm going to leave, just for the demonstration, I'm going to leave one of these fields blank. Can you see it's mandatory? It's blank. So you can see when you submit at the end of it will actually tell you you missed this block. So intentionally, I keep this one blank for the demonstration. Now I go to scope of work, which is the next section. If I want to, I can save the draft in the meantime. You can see your entries have been saved, but not yet submitted. Very important. And now you can carry on. But at least everything is submitted. If I go back to my mandatory company information section, you can see that all these fields we populated are still there. Okay, scope of work. There's nothing to populate, but this is where you actually download all the reference of the scope of work and other related documents in the section. I'm going to click on number 6. I prefer to go one section at a time. And here I can say, do you have a quality management system? These questions are all here to test and to evaluate your capability as a supplier. And here is a scorecard and a scoring mechanism also embedded in this. You don't understand what the weights and the scores are, but we ask you to honestly respond to the questions. So say, for example, do you have a management certificate, ISO? If you say yes, then the system will ask you, but please attach the certificate. So click on the attach a file and you go choose a file. And again, choose the relevant document there. I'm just uploading any document for the demo. You will need to do the applicable valid certificate. Rate your ability to provide technical solutions. And here you've got choices. You need to select them, which is relevant to your company. Rate your flexibility to supply. Here's a list of breakdown. I can supply up to 10% of my capacity in peak times. Rate your on time in full service delivery. These questions may vary from event to event. So please go through them. I'm just showing you some basic templates, but every event may be different because the questions are tailor-made for the specific commodity that we want you to respond on. Now we come to the BEE questions, and this is visible because we said we're a South African supplier supplying goods and services to South Africa. So what is your scorecard type? I'm a QSE, for example. What's your scorecard level? I'm on level 2. And now you need to attach your BEE scorecard. Choose the file, same process. And maybe that's the document, a PDF document. Okay, that is attached there. Percentage. I'm just going to quickly go through all these questions, but you need to answer that honestly. Let me just quickly go on. Expiration date. Okay, and then have you got a transformation plan? Maybe in my case, I say I haven't got the transformation plan. I'm a QSE on level 2. But if you got a transformation plan and you say a yes, then you will see as a question that say, but attach your transformation plan. We need to see that. In my case, I'm just going to say a no. Payment terms. I work on 90 days payment terms. I'm comfortable with that. I've got some good arrangements with my banks. And this is the way that you populate section 6, which is the evaluation criteria. The final section. Please remember that while you populate it, you can save the draft again. So all these responses are saved in the cloud while you're busy. So if you got a problem with your laptop, no problem. Log in from a different computer and you can just carry on. On the pricing schedule, this is the very final section. You can open it up. You can always open up all the pluses. And as you open it up, sometimes there will be more information below that, which is relevant, which you need to read. So the first one will be to say, for the high volume printer, what is your unit price per unit? And say, for example, I say it's 9,500, and you can see it's ZAR, South African rands. Then here's also a specific cost term, which is your handling fee. Every event can be different depending on how the project owner would like you to split the cost of your specific item. And you can see that the pricing unit of measure is for 1 unit. So you need to supply the cost breakdown for 1 unit, and eventually we want to have a quantity of 10 units. So say, for example, that one is 500. Then you can also see here is an optional comment, but this is optional. So you can see there's no red asterisks here. Maybe here I'm just going to populate maybe a comment. Let's populate the next one. This one is the low volume one. Maybe the price here is 4,500, and I've got no handling fee. But because it is a required field with asterisks, I need to put a 0 in there, and I've got no comment I would like to add. To work out the formulas here that you can see the totals, you need to click here, update totals. As I click update totals, you can see that 9,500 plus 500, the price is 10,000. And if I times it by the quantity of 10, 10,000 times 10 will give you 100,000. And the same here, 4,500 is for 1 unit. But if you times it by 20 units, that will be 90,000. And if you add up the 90,000 and 100,000, the total is sitting there at the top. So your total bid, that is the total value of what you submit. Okay. Now you can always go and review to make sure everything is good. You can click again, maybe all content, that you can view all the content down here, what you've populated. Remember, you are 2 scroll bars. So just remember that you also scroll out down on the right hand one. And once you're ready, you can click submit the entire response. But remember, I intentionally left 1 field blank. So because it's a mandatory field, it said you need to fill it in. So let me quickly populate something in there. And now I can go to the bottom. I can say now submit entire response. And now there are no error messages, and I can submit this response. While the event is open, and here is your clock running at the top. While the event is open, you can come back into the event and you can go revise your response. Let me show you. Yes, I want to revise the response, and I can, for example, change that response to something else. But you can change anything, any field, and then you can submit the response again, and then it will save your latest response while the event is still open. If the event closes, you cannot change your responses anymore. In the meantime, you can always come back into the event. You can go to the event messages, and you can actually here's the history of your responses if you want to look at that, and view all the messages. You have submitted a response for this event. Thank you for participating. Once you're done, you can go back to the dashboard, and you will see that you actually on this open event. You can see participated, you can see there's now a yes next to it. And you can see the end time, there's the date and the time when it will close. So because that's open. Once it closes, you need to find it probably under pending selection events, and you can still go into it and view it, but it will just be under the category or the status of pending selection. Once the whole event is completed, then you will just go to the other statuses, but you can still find the events here. And then once done, you can log out. You click on your initials at the top and you click log out. And interestingly, if from the CCBA side, I can now also show you that CCBA can now see that on the event where you submitted your proposal, the status is changing to participated. So it's quite clear from the CCBA side that you have participated, but CCBA cannot see your prices or any information on your bids while the event is still open. Only when the event closes, then the prices and all your responses will be visible on the CCBA side. And this is all in the design for fair bidding practices. I say thank you very much, and I trust that you enjoyed this one, and all the best for your bid submissions for CCBA. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.